Lady Guinevere.
Hi everyone, here again. We have something different today. My arm is still feeling a little bit, so I'm not going to swing too many swords, but I have Noob here with me today, and Noob has decided he'd like to try swinging swords the very first time ever. Can I teach someone who doesn't know how to swing swords to swing a sword at least adequately? He's chosen a bunch of swords that we have. So which one did you pick?
I picked this one.
This one, you know what this is called?
A sword?
Sword. Pretty close. So this is the Katana that he chose. That's one from Romance of Men. We also have a Longsword that he picked. And he was also interested in trying this Oxtail Dao from Chen. I also picked for us a few other single-handed swords. So we have a Yuan Mongol Sabre, and we have an Albion. So I decided to let him try a very expensive sword. So we'll see if he doesn't ruin it before the day's done. So let's take him out. We're going to let him first try and do it all by himself without any instruction, see what he's able to do. And then, if he still needs a little bit of assistance, I'll try and give him a little input.
It should be noted, I've watched a lot of movies where people use swords, so I'm pretty sure I got this all locked in.
All right,
Yeah.
Let's see what he can do. Let's go over there. All right. You done your training with the bowkin?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Target is this water bottle.
Okay.
This is a very sharp sword.
Okay.
Which should make it easy.
Okay.
Okay, Noob.
Yeah.
So, do not swing until I am completely out of the way.
Okay.
Make sure that you hold onto it enough that it's not going to come out of your hands.
Yeah.
And if anything, just make sure that whichever side, so if you swing on this side,
Yeah.
if you swing on that side, just make sure that I just don't want you to swing and get your leg, okay?
Yep, got it.
That's all that I'm going to encourage you to do. Otherwise, the target is yours. Wait till I get out of the way. Come back here. There you go. All right. Go ahead. Hey. Stop. Okay. Now, for everyone watching, he was able to go completely through the reasonably thick bottle in one go with the Katana. You can see he scooped it quite a bit, but he went straight through with the Romance of Men Katana. I'd like to continue a little bit further and see how he does with a different sword. Not too bad a showing. All right.
I just thought about Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai,
Yeah.
and it kind of came natural.
Okay. So the Romance of Men Katana was shown to be pretty easy. Again, I haven't offered any instruction yet. So until we start to struggle, I'm going to refrain from giving any recommendations. Now we're offering the Balaur's Arms 13th and 14th century longsword to Mr. Noob. Okay.
So for this one, I'm thinking King Arthur.
All right.
I've seen a lot of King Arthur movies.
You have to channel King Arthur. Same as
Yep.
before. Wait
Okay.
till I get clear and make
Yep.
sure you do not hit your leg. All right, you're clear.
For Lady Guinevere.
Well, keep it there. Now, I think his form is actually improving just with experience. Take a look at this, guys. So this is a very clean cut. So I'm going to interrupt our little dialogue here. Part of the reason that he selected the Katana, I didn't make that selection for him. But I have long said that anyone who's new to starting with cutting should start with two-handed swords for a variety of reasons. One of them being fatigue. This allows you to go for longer. You have better control. You have more of the weight distributed across more of your arms, etc. So he's doing quite well, and I think it speaks very well to the makers of these swords. These are both, just beyond budget line, budget models. So they're kind of introductory level swords, and someone who has never cut with a sword before is able to get very convincing cuts with these swords without any formal training. And again, water bottles aren't hard targets, but the type of cuts that are being executed on these water bottles are still quite good. Good job. So now we're using a one-handed sword. The one thing I will ask you to do is put your hand through the lanyard. That way, if it gets wild on you, you won't completely lose it.
Okay.
Aside from that, the sword is yours.
And what's this called again?
This is a Yuan saber from, it's a Mongolian saber, a Mongolian Dao, so think Kublai Khan.
Okay.
I
I think it's
13th century.
pronounced a Sabre.
Sabre?
Sabre.
Okay. Sabre. All right, wait till I get clear.
All right.
Please don't hurt yourself.
Always what you want to hear. All right.
All right, you're clear to go. Once again, a little bit of scooping to the target, but otherwise a very clean cut made with a very sharp sword from LK Chen. Not too shabby at all. You're able to go right through it. Excellent job.
Scooping's good, right?
You have shown great aptitude for being able to cut through your targets. We're now on to water jug, or milk jugs rather. Here is an oxtail saber. This is from Qing, China.
China.
Yeah.
It's a little heavier than an oxtail.
Well, yes indeed.
Okay.
I'll leave you to it. Hang on, let me get clear.
That made a cool sound.
I think you may have actually cut part of the stand because you went through and down, and you may have clipped a little bit. Yeah, you cut through the stand a little bit there.
I know, impressive, right?
So, once again, this is a more egregious example where you can see that he struck the target coming in at this angle, and very quickly it dove and came down. So this may be an alignment issue, or it may just be that he cut with the very foible of the blade, and the blade itself started to curve. But because he wasn't able to maintain the direction of the cut, it curved through the target, even though this is a very light target. This is much lighter than the other ones he was doing. And so it entered here and curved down, and it exited through the stand. Fortunately, the blade made it all the way through. So you still get a passing grade, but the quality of the cut on this one was perhaps a little bit lower than some of the other ones. How did it feel, though? You liked the sound it made,
It made
right?
a great sound.
Yeah.
It did shake.
So if I can inspect the sword for a second.
Yeah.
He cut based on the wetness. He cut out here, so he still cut in a pretty good portion of the oxtail. We'd probably prefer to cut slightly lower, but on the whole, you still did a passable area. I'm going to let you do one more sword before we talk the ability to cut. All right, next up, the Albion Oakeshott. Again, this is a one-handed sword from the probably 13th century or so.
It's a lot heavier. All right. I like this one.
Okay, so the type 10A sword shows that it is a convincing cutter, even though he was performing essentially a middle how, which is actually a very difficult cut. This type of sword excels at that particular type of cut, and he was able to leave a standing target, which I don't think he was able to do up until this time at all. So great job, high five, noob. That was a wonderful cut, done very convincingly with this sword. So even though he didn't have any formal training from me, just in the couple of minutes in the backyard going through for his very first time with sharp sword, And it helps that he's a reasonably athletic guy who has done sports for his life.
A little more than reasonably.
The feedback he was getting from the swords, because these are good, high quality, well made cutting swords, has enabled him to be able to learn a little bit and figure out how to properly make it through the bottles pretty well. Let's see if we can give him a couple of pointers and improve his cutting even more, even in just a couple of minutes. Okay, so a couple of things we can do to improve.
Yep.
We'll hold it pretty much right up at the guard.
Okay.
All right. You'll get into almost like a riding stance.
Mm-hmm.
When we're cutting, you'll kind of think about sinking down into it. You're already not doing most of the beginner's mistakes in trying to either swing too much with your arm or either stopping at the target, you're continuing through the target, which is correct, or overcommitting and swinging for the fences and showing your whole back. You just want a nice controlled cut. So think about starting up here and ending down here, or going up and through, 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 and then it'll be a nice clean cut.
That'll keep the whatever you call
the edge alignment.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, you just think that you can imagine there's a diagonal line there, and you're just making sure the entire blade is following that. You can do a couple of passes dry beforehand.
Okay.
And you're keeping you don't want it completely out, you don't want it completely back, you want it kind of in between.
All right. And so part of it is just getting used to hitting something beyond your arm.
Right.
Is just
figuring out the range. It's not a baseball club, and we're going between a bunch of different strokes. So again, plan to sink down into your knees a little bit so that you can recruit from the hips. There you go. I would get this hand out of the way. Either put it behind you or on your chest or something like that. Yeah. Hey, look at that. Look at that. That is a gorgeous cut. I'm going to bring the camera over. And with the most minimal amount of coaching, you're able to execute a beautiful descending cut. Perfect. Try it from the other side. It made the noise the first time because you struck the stand, and so it rang the sword.
So from the other side, so come this side, you're saying?
No, go over there. Switch legs.
Switch legs. So this way?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's different.
So think about drawing a diagonal down through the target. Yeah. Look at that. Beautiful line.
Yeah.
Beautiful line.
This thing's pretty good.
Yeah. Thing's very good. You want to try one more with the katana?
Yeah.
All right. Here, you're going to hold right there and right there.
Okay.
Mostly using these two fingers. Back there. Yeah. Imagine like you're holding two baby birds. You don't want to squeeze it so you crush them. You don't want too light so that you let them fly away.
Yep.
And we're gonna start with this hand basically straight above our head. There you go. All right.
All right.
And again, just like before, you think about a diagonal going across the target. So you start from here.
Yep.
You cock your blade slightly, and then sweep down.
Do I step back when I do
Well,
it?
you shouldn't need to step back. If anything, you can take a step forward and into it.
Got it.
So step forward and make sure that just make sure that your distance is far enough that you're going to clear the back.
Right now I'm going to hit the handle, so maybe just turn it. So I have
the handle will be at some point.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Not where I was aiming, but
look at how clean that.
I barely even felt it go through.
Yeah. When you have proper body mechanics, it makes a big difference.
All right.
Do the same thing, but on the other side. Well, he definitely had a lot of gumption. We went pretty deep into the cutting block.
I think I missed that time.
Where's the one? This is the one that you went. So you took out the bottom of it, and you went into the cutting stand. But fortunately, the cutting stand is full.
You get one mulligan a day, don't you?
So, in conclusion, what have we learned? Noob, did you enjoy that experience?
Oh, that was a blast.
Yeah. So, if you have the proper sword, this makes this type of training much easier. Having the wrong swords, either they're balanced wrong or having their edge improperly sharp, is going to make the learning process much harder. The beginner, the student is going to struggle quite a bit with their cuts. This is obviously very easy targets we're working with. We're just working with simple bottles. Working with something heavier like tatami or rolled newspaper or cardboard or clay will obviously make it more difficult. Those are more advanced targets, and it's also going to show the lack of technique of each of the cuts much more readily. But this is definitely something that you can introduce someone to who has never used swords before, as long as you're doing it safely and in a controlled environment. There was a variety of differences between each of the swords, but I think all of the swords that we showcased today did pretty well. You enjoyed all of them,
Oh,
right?
they were all great. Yep.
Yeah. I still think that two-handed swords are probably the way to start with someone who has never done this before, but there's something to be said for starting with something like a machete, because as you can see, someone who is just starting their cutting career will make mistakes and will smash into things that they don't intend to, and if you have your only nice sword, you might not want to ruin it with the first time that you're out there cutting. So consider what you have available and maybe start them on the loner first. All right, guys, that's it. Until next time, say bye, noob.
Bye, noob.
Take care, guys.